is Sherry, and it is the 15th of July, which means it's time for another Oh So Inspired video. I'm super excited to be back with the Oh So Inspired video collaboration group for another 6 months, July through December. And what fun we have every month. This month's inspiration piece is a wavy circle layout created by Stacy Cohen. I will show you a picture of it right now. So as you can see, there are so many things that one could take inspiration from in that layout. What I kept coming back to though for inspiration was the torn paper layers. 4 layers of torn paper, torn in a wave shape. How fun was that? And I decided that since I needed to make some thank you cards, I would use that as my inspiration for the cards. What I decided to do was to use up some things that I had not used in a while. I have this block stamp that says thank you on it. I decided to put that on some scallop circles for the card face. I have a bunch of A4 envelopes that I seldom use because I'm not really a card maker, and I got these from a friend who became a jewelry maker, and so she gave me a lot of her card making stuff. And then I pulled out this signature paper, which I got at Walmart a long time ago. And what's really wonderful about this paper is that not only was it cheap, I think it was $5 for this pad, but the paper is thinner, so it's nice for cards, especially if you plan to send them in the mail. Because it's not as thick, so it won't be as heavy or as bulky as other scrap papers. Another wonderful thing about this paper is that it's double-sided, which works well for my idea. I chose 3 pieces from the signature paper pad that coordinated with colors, and I found a coordinating color cardstock. And with that, I made 6 cards that have the torn paper effect on them. So the first card I made is kind of like my trial and error card. And it turned out sweet. I mean, it's not bad at all. So what I did was, this is not a card that you open, but it's more like a postcard with just a simple front and back. You can see the torn paper layers underneath the thank you. And another nice thing I like about these is that the torn part that was extra, I used on the envelope. So to decorate the envelope. So I think that's pretty cool. Definitely noticeable. I used Mod Podge and I glued those down, the torn paper down, and it just really gives the envelope a little bit of a dressed up look. And it's fun that it coordinates with the card. Like I said, I'm not a card maker, so I'm just sort of, you know, just going with my gut as far as these are concerned. So no more, I didn't use foam anymore underneath any of these. And when I did the sewing, the other side showed through quite a bit, so I did put a different kind of trim to cover up that seam on each one. So there's another one. I want to make sure I'm in frame here. Here's another thank you. This one would be one that I would have to hand to them because this rickrack is pretty thick. Here's one that has a nice creamy trim on it, and it says give thanks to the Lord instead of thanks. Here's another thank you, and I used washi for the trim. Oh, and the back too. You might want to see the back. The first one I made, I like the pink that I chose, but it doesn't pop or even really match as well as this darker pink color. So I like the darker a lot better. I feel like it matches a lot better. And then I found one that said always be joyful. I used a different trim on each one because I don't have an excessive amount of each of these trims. And that is what I did with my inspiration. I made some postcard thank yous to give away to people I need to show my gratitude to. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to go ahead and show you the measurements and how I made the cards out of the paper. I'm going to alter it a little bit different. The cards that I'm making are going to be flatter, and they're not going to have the torn paper on them, but it'll give you an idea of how you could make these cards. If you're interested in seeing that, go ahead and stay tuned. If you want to move on to the next participant's video, please check out the links in the description box below and have fun hopping along through the videos and seeing how everyone was inspired. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Hello to returning subscribers, and if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit the subscribe button because there's more crafty fun where this came from. Thanks for watching. Thank you to those of you who decided to hang in there with me and watch how I made these postcard style cards that fit into A4 envelopes. What you would need if you would want to make cards like the ones I'm about to make is some paper. You'll need some double-sided paper, although single-sided paper would work fine. And I chose some paper from this adorable collection that I got at Joann's. They had a buy one get one, and the Die Cuts with a View series came out with this adorable paper called Okie Dokie. It is so fun. Here, let me flip through that real quick for you. And honestly, when I bought it, I thought this would be the one paper that I would probably never use. And I did pick one of those pages out for these cards. Okie Dokie. It's by Die Cuts with a View, and you can find it at Joann's. I don't know if Joann's is still having that sale though. So what I did was I pulled two pieces. This piece I'm going to use for the front. So instead of like a thank you, I'm going to have one of these little critters on the front. And then this will be the front of the postcard, and this will be the back. Then I found some matching green cardstock, which I will sew onto the back of the postcard. And I decided to do a hello sentiment, which I'm going to make out of this out of this darker gray, which goes really nice with these papers. So what you're going to do is take your 12 by 12 piece that you want to be the postcard itself and cut it right down the middle, and then basically you're cutting 6 4 by 6 pieces out. So you cut it right down the middle at 6 inches, and then you cut each of those into 3 pieces, which are 4 inches each. So now, for the paper that's going to go on the back of the postcard, you will want to take, I have 8.5 by 11-inch cardstock here. But you're going to want to cut this a little bit smaller than the 4 by 6, so I've been cutting it at 5 5/8 by 3 5/8. And what I did was, I found that if I do the 5 5/8, so I'll put my paper in vertically, cut it 5 5/8. Then when I turn this one around, I can get 3 pieces that are 3 5/8 long. So that is a really good use of cardstock. Cardstock is a little more pricey than printer paper, so it's nice to be able to use it up really well. So there, I got 3 pieces out of one. And then with this piece, it is the perfect size to get some scallop circles out of. And I wanted to do some green scallop circles to put behind the smaller critter circles that I'm going to cut out. So each of these strips will give you 4 scallop circles. So you'll wind up with a couple of extra scallop circles that you can put in your scrap stash to use for other projects. I want to get some critters off of this page, and so to do that I'm going to just cut this off so that I can position my paper punch right where I want it. Plenty of critters to choose from now. So I'm going to sew the backs on. For that reason, I don't need to do a lot as far as taping is concerned. But I do want to tape it on so that while I'm sewing, this piece of cardstock does not shift while it's in the machine. Okay, and now I'm going to sew these. Okay, the sewing is done. And what I did was I sewed it so that the stitching looks nice on the back where I will do the writing of my card. And then the front, you can see the stitching is not so nice. I think, I don't know a lot about tension, etc. So what I will do though is cover this with this trim. And as I was preparing to put the smaller scallop on the larger scallop, it seemed like there was too much space here between the critter and the larger scallop. So I thought I would bring in a rosette and see if that helps that space a little bit. It does add texture and it does help it to look a little more complete, and this soft pink color is perfect. So I'm going to make some rosettes that are larger than the 1.5 inch scallop but smaller than the 2.5 inch scallop, and I'm going to make them out of this light pink. So I'm going to go ahead and make 5 more of those and I'll be back. So these centerpieces are ready to go. They turned out really cute. I think the rosette between the 2 scallop circles adds a lot to it. What I want to do now is get my little hello sentiment going. And what I'll be doing for this is just cutting a strip of this gray cardstock, this darker gray cardstock, and I'll get 6 hellos out of it. I like the little diamond press because it travels well. And what I do is I store it in a box and I put all of these little word dies in the same box so that it's easy to just cut a word die anytime I want to. I don't have to get out my Cricut, which can be a little bit troublesome to get out. And there's the little gray hello. Cute, right? Okay. I like this tool. It's put out by Spellbinders. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. But you can use it to help clear your die of those little tiny pieces that get stuck, especially in these smaller word dies. And usually I do that over a trash can, but I thought you guys might like to see it if you were unfamiliar with this tool. Very handy when you're doing die cutting. So it's put out by Spellbinders and it's called Tool in One. Okay, I'm going to cut those out and I'll be right back. All the little sweet hellos are cut out and ready to go. And as I'm getting ready to begin assembling these little postcard cards, I'm thinking that the centerpiece needs a little bit of dark gray to help define it so that it's not completely lost with this busy background. That's my thinking. I don't want to try it out on this, so I'm going to try it out on one of these extra things. And I was thinking, what if I put a polka dot in each of the rounds of the scallop? Would that be enough to sort of help the centerpiece be more of a centerpiece against that busy background? So I have this dark gray Sharpie, and I really do like dark gray as a neutral color in projects. It's kind of classy. Yeah, I think that'll do the trick. So I'm going to add those dark gray polka dots to these, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and hot glued the trim around the seam so it looks more finished on both sides. You have the stitching side here, and then this side has the rickrack, really soft texture felt rickrack, to cover the rough side of the stitching. And then I also, while I was hot glued the centerpiece down. And to attach the hello, I'm using this Zig Memory System two-way glue. So it has, you can use the glue a couple of different ways, but this is what I usually use it for, is these little word stickers. And so I apply glue to the back of the word, and it stays pretty liquidy for a while. And then I put it down where I want it, and it is repositionable for a short time if you want to reposition it. All right, that is the finished cards. Here's the little chicken one. Hello, hen. The dog. Love the little shirt. I think a skunk. Not sure. Could be a badger. A little elephant with the bow tie. And the cat. I hope you got a little bit of inspiration and maybe some practical information on how you can make your own postcard style cards. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Hello, returning subscribers. I hope you enjoyed this and got some inspiration. And if you are not a subscriber, you should hit the subscribe button. There's a lot more crafty fun where this came from. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.